You wake up tired, not physically, mentally. Nothing happened yet, but your mind is already loud. Messages you haven't answered, things you should have done, things you're afraid might happen. And here's the part nobody tells you. Most of that noise is optional, not fake positivity optional, not just relax optional. I mean structurally unnecessary. 2,000 years ago, someone noticed this. Not a guru, not a monk, a man surrounded by chaos, wars, politics, betrayal, loss. And he wrote something strange. People are disturbed not by things, but by the views they take of them. That sentence alone is dangerous, because once you really get it, you can't unsee it. It means the world isn't attacking you. Your interpretation is. Stoicism doesn't start by calming you down. It starts by removing the lie. The lie is that your peace depends on circumstances. It doesn't. That's uncomfortable to hear because it kills excuses. If your inner state is your responsibility, you can't blame the weather, your past, your parents, or the algorithm. And that's exactly why most people reject Stoicism. It demands ownership. The first thing a Stoic learns is brutally simple. There are things you control and things you don't. Sounds obvious, almost childish. But look at how people live. They obsess over outcomes. They replay conversations. They fantasize about recognition. They stress about how they're perceived, all things outside their control. Meanwhile, they neglect the only things that are theirs: their judgments, their actions, their discipline, their values. A Stoic doesn't ask, "Will this work out?" He asks, "Am I acting correctly right now?" That shift alone changes everything, because when you tie your peace to outcomes, you become fragile. Every delay feels personal. Every failure feels like a verdict. Every opinion feels like an attack. The Stoic cuts that cord, not because he doesn't care, but because he cares about the right thing. Here's where it gets uncomfortable. Most suffering isn't caused by events. It's caused by resistance. You want reality to be different. You want people to behave better. You want timing to be perfect. And when it's not, you tense up. That tension is the suffering. Stoicism doesn't fight reality. It aligns with it. Not in a passive way, in a precise way. The Stoic looks at what's happening and thinks, all right, this is the situation, now what? No complaining, no dramatizing, no inner monologue spirals, just clarity. And clarity is power. Here's a hard truth. If someone can control your emotions, they control you. A rude comment, a dismissive look, a delayed reply. Your mood collapses. The Stoic sees this and feels embarrassed for the person being controlled. So he trains something rare: non-reactivity, not numbness, not suppression, choice. He notices the surge of anger, the spike of anxiety, the urge to defend his ego, and he pauses. That pause is everything, because between stimulus and response, there is a gap. And in that gap, you decide who you are. Most people skip the gap. They react, then justify. The Stoic does the opposite. He observes, then chooses. And yes, this takes effort. Stoicism isn't soft. It doesn't tell you you're special. It doesn't promise comfort. It asks, can you govern yourself? Because if you can't, someone else will. Now here's a practice that scares people away. Negative visualization. Sounds depressing? It's not. It's clarifying. The Stoic imagines loss before it happens. Not obsessively, briefly, deliberately, losing status, losing comfort, losing people. Why? Because fear thrives in avoidance. When you refuse to look at worst-case scenarios, your mind turns them into monsters. When you look directly, they shrink. You realize something shocking. You'd survive, different life, harder maybe, but not the end. That realization does something powerful. It makes you bold. When you're no longer terrified of losing, you stop playing small. You stop begging for approval. You stop clinging. And ironically, you perform better. Because anxiety clouds judgment. Calm sharpens it. The Stoic doesn't expect life to be fair. That expectation alone ruins people. They think, I did everything right. This shouldn't be happening. Reality doesn't care. The Stoic says, this is happening. What's the correct response? That mindset creates resilience that looks almost unfair. While others break, he adapts. While others complain, he acts. And here's the part modern culture hates. Stoicism isn't about feeling good, it's about being good. Feeling good comes and goes. It's unreliable. Character isn't. The Stoic anchors his identity to principles, not emotions. He doesn't ask, what do I feel like doing? He asks, what kind of person do I choose to be? That question alone filters behavior. Now ask yourself this. How much of your stress today came from things you couldn't control? And how much energy did you waste there? Stoicism doesn't remove problems. It removes wasted effort. And when you stop wasting effort, you suddenly have strength. But here's the part people miss. Understanding Stoicism changes nothing. You can quote it. You can like videos. You can nod along and still live reactively. Stoicism only works when practiced in moments that matter. When you're insulted, when plans fall apart, when things go quiet and your mind starts racing, that's where it's tested. And that's where most people fail. Because discipline is easy when nothing is happening. The real test comes next, and it gets harder from here. Most people think discipline is about force, white-knuckling, pushing harder, grinding until something breaks. Stoicism disagrees. It says the real battle isn't against the world. It's against the impulse inside you, the urge to react, to complain, to escape discomfort. The Stoic trains endurance of the mind because pain is inevitable, discomfort is guaranteed, but panic is optional. Here's something Marcus Aurelius wrote to himself: not to impress anyone, not for an audience. To bear this worthily is good fortune. That line is cold, almost offensive, but it reveals something most people never learn. How you carry difficulty matters more than the difficulty itself. Two people lose the same thing. One becomes bitter, the other becomes sharper. Same loss, different soul. Stoicism is the art of not being internally damaged by external events. And that doesn't happen by accident. It happens through training. One of the Stoics' most misunderstood ideas is voluntary discomfort, choosing what you don't need. Cold showers, simple food, walking instead of convenience. Not because suffering is noble, but because comfort makes you fragile. When your nervous system only functions under perfect conditions, you panic the moment things go wrong. The Stoic removes that weakness. He proves to himself regularly, I don't need this. And once you don't need something, it loses power over you. Luxury stops owning you. Approval stops owning you. Stability stops owning you. You become harder to manipulate. That's dangerous in a world built on distraction. Now let's talk about ego, because this is where most people secretly collapse. Ego wants credit, recognition, validation. Stoicism starves it. The Stoic understands that praise and blame are two sides of the same leash. If praise excites you, criticism will destroy you. So he trains indifference, not fake indifference, internal independence. He does the work whether anyone notices or not. And this creates a quiet confidence that can't be shaken. You don't need to announce who you are when your behavior speaks consistently. Here's another hard truth. Most people don't want peace. They want comfort without effort. Stoicism offers peace, but only after responsibility. And responsibility scares people because it removes the victim role. The Stoic doesn't say, this happened because of them. He says, this is mine to respond to. That mindset makes excuses impossible, but it also makes progress inevitable. Because when you stop blaming, you start building. Now pay attention to this. The Stoic doesn't suppress desire. He interrogates it. Why do I want this? What am I afraid will happen if I don't get it? Is this desire mine or borrowed? Most desires aren't chosen. They're absorbed from culture, from comparison, from insecurity. The Stoic strips them down, and when a desire can't justify itself, he lets it die. That's painful, but what grows in its place is self-respect. And self-respect is quieter than motivation, but far more stable. Now here's where Stoicism becomes dangerous for the wrong person, because it removes emotional drama. No mental spirals, no constant highs and lows, no identity built on suffering. Some people don't want that gone. Their chaos has become familiar. Stoicism feels empty to them at first. No rush, no outrage, no validation loops, just calm. And calm feels boring to an addicted mind. But boredom is where strength rebuilds. This is why Stoics emphasize routine, same habits, same standards, regardless of mood. Mood is weather. Character is climate. The Stoic doesn't negotiate with his feelings. He acknowledges them, then acts anyway. That's freedom. Because when your actions depend on how you feel, you're a hostage. Now let's address something uncomfortable. Stoicism won't make you liked. It will make you respected. And those are not the same. You won't react dramatically. You won't overshare. You won't chase attention. Some people will feel uneasy around you because you're not playing the same emotional games. That's fine. The Stoic isn't here to be entertaining. He's here to be steady. And in moments of crisis, Steadiness becomes rare currency. People look to the calm one when everything else collapses. Now ask yourself this: if everything you rely on disappeared tomorrow, your status, your routine, your certainty, what would be left? Stoicism prepares you for that question before life asks it violently. And life will ask it, not once, multiple times. The Stoic doesn't hope for ease, he prepares for impact. And that preparation creates something subtle: gratitude. Not the performative kind, the quiet kind. When you know things are temporary, you stop taking them for granted. You enjoy without clinging. You care without panicking. That balance is rare. Now, here's the trap. People turn Stoicism into aesthetics. Quotes, black and white photos, Sigma nonsense. That misses the point entirely. Stoicism is lived in silence, in how you respond when no one is watching, in how you treat people who can't benefit you, in how you carry loss without broadcasting it. That's where it reveals itself. And here's the part most people aren't ready for. Stoicism will isolate you at first, because growth always does. You'll stop relating to constant complaining, to emotional manipulation, to drama disguised as depth. And that can feel lonely, but it's a clean loneliness, and it passes. What replaces it is a strange sense of alignment. Your thoughts, actions, and values stop fighting each other. And when that happens, your mind gets quiet, not empty, clear. And clarity is dangerous, because once you experience it, going back feels unbearable. But we're not done, because the hardest part of Stoicism is still ahead. And it's the part almost nobody practices. Here's the part that separates people who like Stoicism from people who actually live it. Acceptance of fate, not resignation, not passivity, alignment. The Stoics called it amor fati, loving what happens, not because it feels good, but because it is. Most people tolerate reality at best. They're constantly waiting for a different version of life to begin. When this is over, when I have more, when things finally settle, the Stoic doesn't postpone life. He meets it where it is. Whatever shows up becomes material. Obstacle, training, delay, discipline, loss, refinement. This mindset doesn't complain, it converts. And that's powerful, because once you stop arguing with reality, your energy returns. You stop bleeding attention into resentment. Now let's talk about death, because Stoicism doesn't flirt with it. It stares directly, not to be dark, to be accurate. You are not guaranteed old age. You are not guaranteed closure. You are not guaranteed another chance. Most people live as if time is negotiable. The Stoic knows it isn't, so he acts now. He doesn't delay integrity. He doesn't postpone courage. He doesn't wait to become who he respects. Memento mori isn't about fear. It's about urgency. If today were the last day you could act with honor, would you? That question burns away nonsense fast. Petty conflicts shrink. Ego-driven goals dissolve. What remains is essential, and essentials are easier to carry. Here's something most people misunderstand. Stoicism doesn't make you emotionless. It makes you unshakable. You still feel joy. You still feel love. You still feel sadness. But they don't hijack you. You experience emotions without drowning in them. That's maturity. And maturity is rare because it requires self-restraint. Now let's confront the final illusion: control. Even Stoics don't control outcomes. They release the illusion of control. They focus on effort, on intention, on virtue. And when things go well, they're grateful. When they don't, they're composed, not because they're superior, but because they trained for this moment. Training isn't visible. No one applauds internal discipline. No one sees the restraint. But when chaos arrives, it shows. This is why Stoicism has survived empires. Not because it's comforting, but because it works. It produces people who don't break easily, people who don't need constant validation, people who don't collapse under pressure. And that's threatening to a culture built on stimulation and outrage. Now here's the truth you can't escape. You are practicing a philosophy already. Every day. Your reactions reveal it. Your habits confirm it. Your excuses expose it. The question isn't whether you live by a philosophy. The question is whether you chose it consciously. Stoicism is simply one option, a demanding one. It asks you to govern yourself before trying to govern the world. It asks you to stop negotiating with weakness. And it doesn't promise happiness. It promises dignity. And dignity outlasts mood. So here's the final thought. Life will not slow down for you. It will not become fair. It will not wait until you feel ready. It will keep coming. The only real choice is whether you meet it as a victim or as someone who has trained their mind to stand upright no matter what arrives. That choice is available every day, and almost no one takes it. If this video helped you, please subscribe to the channel Stoic Freedom.